Welcome back to the show, folks. This is the wrap-up, your daily dose of pop culture and movie news all in one place, hosted by me, Mr. H Reviews. On today's show, we've got a Spider-Man Far From Home main piece, where the VENOM Spider-Man crossover has been discussed once more. But we also have some interesting news with respect to the Rotten Tomatoes score being revealed. I know a lot of people go, stop talking about Rotten Tomatoes, you're just, exacerbating the issue where they think they have relevancy. My point when I take a look at the Rotten Tomatoes score is actually more interesting and telling, I think, with respect to comparisons to other movies. You can really see what critics are enjoying in the industry and what they have a bias towards. So we'll be taking a look at that. We also have some Ghostbusters 2020 news. It's not the news that you want to hear. I will just say that straight from the top. So, yeah, it's not necessarily bad news, but it's not the news that everyone's been waiting for. So we'll get to that, and then unfortunately, right at the end, we'll cap it off with an amazing piece of news. Sherlock Holmes' sister, that's right, is getting a movie. If you want to skip right ahead to any of the topics that I have just mentioned, skip right ahead down below. The timestamps are in the description box and linked in a pinned comment. But let's get into it. Spider-Man Far From Home director is confident that a Spider-Man Venom crossover would work. Now, this is an exclusive to Comic Book Movie. Now, with respect to this, this has long been discussed. In fact, whether it's because Spider-Man Far From Home is coming out or not, it is interesting to see how much this is being discussed now and the executives that are discussing it. So I think that this is something which is in the works, and I think that they're dropping it in here and there to get people excited for it. But that's just my thoughts. So obviously, we'll just touch through this article. Venom may not have been a critical hit. No, it wasn't, but it was a massive success at the box office. And there continue to be rumblings about some sort of crossover movie featuring Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock and Tom Holland's Spider-Man. The latter certainly seems keen on the idea, and even Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige recently pointed out that it seems likely to happen. He also pointed out that actually it's entirely up to Sony. It's not up to Marvel. So Sony can apparently just do whatever they want, which begs the question, why haven't they done it yet? Seeing as these guys were going to make a spin-off movie of Aunt May. You'd think they would capitalise on the ones which have actually made money, wouldn't you? But apparently not, because Sony is run by monkeys. So anyway, it says, during a recent chat with Spider-Man Far From Home director John Watts, I asked the filmmaker, so this is Josh Wilding of comicbookmovie.com, I asked the filmmaker if he believes the two different franchises could be combined, and he seems confident that putting Spidey and Venom together would lead to some amazing things. So obviously this is an interview. I'm not going to watch the interview. We're going to just take the excerpt. I found Venom to be so funny, and I thought Tom Hardy was so great. I don't know that they are so different, he responded. I think you put those two Toms together, and you're going to see something pretty special. I would agree. Not on the basis that I think they could work, because one is, well, one's PG-13, the other is, I don't know if Spider-Man's PG-13. It could be. I'd be surprised if it is. I think that's where it's going to suffer mainly, is just the ratings crossover and what you can do. Inevitably, people are really annoyed with Venom anyway because they think that it should be R-rated. I'm one of these people that would agree. I think Venom, would be best served as an R-rated film, especially Carnage, but we've already had confirmation from Avi Arad that's not going to happen. Well done, Avi Arad. So with respect to this, could it work? Yeah. What does this tell us, though, with everyone talking about it now? I think it's going to happen. I think this is something which is in the works, and I think they're teasing it. So, the other news is the Rotten Tomatoes score has been revealed. So, it's certified fresh at 90%. Now, we'll take a look and see if it's changed at all. But again, I think this is telling with respect to the industry and what critics are liking at this point in time. 90%, right? With a total of 104. Now, these movies are fine, but for it to be 90%, for X-Men Dark Phoenix to be 23%, I can believe that. But then we also have Godzilla King of the Monsters to be 40%. I really struggle to, yeah, I honestly struggle to believe that this is honest, unbiased critical scores here. And the reason why I say that is I'm not putting a tinfoil fucking hat on. It's not conspiracy theories and all this nonsense. That's not what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is the rating system that they use here is so warped. For those that don't know, you can score them out of 5 or out of 10, and A, B, C, or D as well. And then even if it's 6 or above, it's counted as a fresh, but not a 60%. Something like that. It's a very strange system. In fact, I don't even understand it. That's what I can't even explain it properly. That's how bizarre it is. So I struggle to believe that that's an accurate description of what the movie will actually be. And I want this movie to be good. Just hold your horses. I actually want this movie to be good. Just because I quite like Tom Holland's Spider-Man. So there you go. I just think this is telling with respect to what the industry is moving towards. Rocket Man, for instance. People didn't really like Rocket Man. Generally speaking, there was a lot of negative reviews for it from everyday life. Brightburn, I quite liked, and that ended up at 56%. Secret Life of Pets 2, which you would have thought would be on par with the likes of Toy Story 4, is nowhere near. So I just think it's interesting. I think it's one of these things that you take a look at and you go, really? What the hell is going on there? John Wick Chapter 3, I can believe that. It was a good movie. Even Child's Play, I'd say that's about right. Wasn't offensively bad. I had a good time with that film. But then we look at the other ones, which are a little bit more, you either like it or you hate it. And then Marvel movies. Seems to be the thing. But anyway, I thought I'd bring you this news. What do you think? Let me know down below in the comments. Spider-Man, Venom, can it work? Tomato meter, Rotten Tomatoes. What do you think of that shit? So anyway, let's move on now. We've got Variety's reporting on Paul Rudd joining the Ghostbusters. Oh my god! I told you it wasn't the news that you wanted. It's definitely not. Why? Because everyone wanted the original Ghostbusters to be back. But that report remains to be seen yet. So, Paul Rudd is in the final negotiations to join Sony's latest installment of Ghostbusters. Sources tell Variety that Rudd will play a teacher in the film. Whether that's a school teacher or not, I don't think we know. Might be a teacher of the ghostbusting ways. Carrie Coon is also in talks for the not-so-secret project, along with Stranger Things star Finn Wolfhard and Gifted star McKenna Grace. I'm fairly certain, actually, these have been cast, because Jason Reitman did a tweet about it, saying, welcome to the family, or something along those lines, or say hello to the new family. So I actually think they've already been chosen. Don't quote me on that, but I'm fairly certain they have. Jason Reitman, whose father is Ivan Reitman, directed the original Ghostbusters, and Jason Reitman will step into the director's chair. He co-wrote the screenplay with Jill Keenan and plans to shoot the film later this summer. Ghostbusters 2020 is expected to hit theatres in the summer of next year. I've been wanting to work with Paul Rudd since my short film opened for Wet Hot American Summer at Sundance. I'm thrilled he'll be joining this new chapter in the original Ghostbusters universe. It's interesting that it just slides that in the original Ghostbusters universe. I like that. Good. Now, it says that Sony wouldn't comment on plot details, but insiders tell Variety the story will be an extension of the original Ghostbusters and focus on a single mom and her family, with Coon playing the mom and Wolfhard playing her son. It's unknown how exactly it connects to the original Ghostbusters series. Now, Sigourney Weaver is rumoured to return, and she stated something very strange in like an interview saying, yeah, I'm looking forward to returning with everyone. But then there's been no confirmation. And, if we're getting confirmation of Paul Rudd, you'd think we'd have confirmation of Sigourney Weaver. The news, if that broke, would be huge. People would be lapping that up. So it's very strange that they're not telling us if they've been cast, which indicates to me they've not been cast, basically. Now, the Ghostbusters sequel will be produced by Ivan Reitman. The sci-fi comedy has been a huge priority for the studio, where it's been secretly developed using the codename Rust City. When Reitman was announced as director in January, a teaser trailer and release date were ready the next day. Yep. Now, Rudd's rep stated, marvelous stretch with Avengers Endgame. He's also on board to start in the Netflix series Living With Yourself, which blows. Which bows this fall? Which bowels this fall. Is this good news? Yeah, I think so. Look, Paul Rudd's a good actor. I look forward to seeing him in this, but I just think this is a bit... Don't know, really. Where's the originals? Get us the original stars. That was what this was touted as, so get us the originals. But let me know your thoughts. What do you think? Let me know down below in the comments. Now, let's shuffle on to our final piece of news. God damn. Henry Cavill joins Millie Bobby Brown in Legendary's Enola Holmes. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The agenda continues. And I hate to say it, but god damn it is. Why are we getting a story about Sherlock Holmes' sister? Why? 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 The game is afoot for Henry Cavill. Like gravel. Cavill has joined Millie Bobby Brown to star in Enola Holmes. Now, Henry will be playing Sherlock, believe it or not. With that bouffon of his. It'll be quite comical. Now, it's based on book series by Nancy Springer. Helena Bonham Carter is also on the call sheet. Harry Bradbeer is directing. Fine, who cares? Springer's book series, which began with the case of the missing Marquis in Marquis in 2006, comprises of 6 books and tells the tale of Sherlock and Mycroft Holmes' much younger sister Enola, who turns out to be a highly capable detective in her own right. Of course she is, because detective skills is a hereditary trait now. Cavill will play Sherlock Holmes opposite Brown's Enola Holmes. Bonham Carter will play Enola's mother, according to sources. Jack Thorne wrote the script for the story, which involves a missing teen whose father has been murdered. Legendary is producing with Brown and her sister, Paige Brown, via the duo's PCMA Productions shingle. Okay. So Millie Bobby Brown has her own production company now, does she? Did not know that, but fine. Very strange. Alex Garcia and Ali Mendez will oversee the production of the project for Legendary. Alex Garcia, he's done a lot of projects recently for Legendary. That's fine. Look, what do you think of this? To me, that's what we live in right now. This is the world we live in. Everything's there, isn't it? I don't think this is good. I don't think this will be good. It's definitely not for me, though. This is for kids, for sure. So, what do you think? Let me know down below in the comments. Now, let's move on. We've got a few questions, hopefully, to get to. So, we're going to dip in the mailbag and see what we've got today. So, if you want to submit your questions to me, you can over on Gmail, mishreviews@gmail.com, by using the subject line, The Wrap Up. Then hopefully at the end of this daily show, we'll have time to get to some of your questions. So today, our first question, and unfortunately our only question, comes to us from Austin. He says, "Hey Mr. H, I'm a big fan of all your content. I have 2 questions pertaining to Universal's Dark Universe." Interesting. "Instead of rebooting, do you think Universal should make a legitimate horror sequel to House of Dracula, or Abbott and Costello's Meet Frankenstein? Personally, I feel this is the best action because they could continue the legacy and continue the established but loose continuity." No. But I also don't think they should approach it anyway. Just because I think... I don't know, really. It's one of those ones where I just think... This is... I think... I don't think the Dark Universe can be a thing. Because I think we've been swamped with monsters and beasts and all this kind of nonsense for so long. I think that this might just... I think it was dead on arrival anyway. I will say this, actually, having thought about it, I think if they're going to do anything, they should do what you've just suggested. At least continue something nicely. Maybe that would bring people back to it and actually want to watch it. But let me know your thoughts. I mean, you said you think it's the best, so... Best course of action. So yeah, let me know why. And his second question was, in The Bride of Frankenstein, Dr. Pretorius famously toasts to a new world of gods and monsters. Do you think that the gods and monsters should include the old gods and other races in the Lovecraft mythos? Interesting. Don't know whether that would work with the Dark Universe. Because they're a step... Well, I guess you could get Swamp. You know, the creature from the Black Lagoon could kind of be a deep one. Maybe. You could kind of connect it in. You could kind of weave it in. If you don't connect the original monsters in the Dark Universe to the Lovecraft mythos directly, you wouldn't be able to weave it in because the Lovecraft mythos monsters and creatures are too powerful, I think. But let me know. That's an interesting question. I'd never actually thought of that. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. That wraps it up here for me today. I've got nothing else to discuss or bring to you news-wise. Obviously, if you are new here, please do hit subscribe. You can stay up to date on this, the daily dose of pop culture and movie news, all in one place. The wrap-up, hosted by me, Mr. H Reviews. If there are any other breaking news stories throughout the day, I will be bringing you them. A lot of people seem to be confused. Like, I do this main piece, and sometimes I drop little highlight videos. The reason why I drop highlight videos is just because a lot of people don't see the main piece of news, and they like to just get the actual piece of news directly rather than sit through this whole thing. So yeah, apologies if you're not a fan of the highlight videos or the main one, but that's the reason why. Just more eyes get out there and onto stuff. So anyway, guys, I've been Mr. H. Take care.